Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode here on A Plus Productions, where we are going to take a step back and do a classic episode of BAM. That's Boris and Matt, where we talk the best about sports, entertainment, and we bring it all together to talk about sports, entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour! Happy March Madness season to all who celebrate, and it's 187 on Homicide's career. We're going to talk a little bit of Homicide, the great indie star. We're going to talk a little March Madness, talk maybe a little John Mulaney talk show on Netflix. Lots of things to get into, but first, big homie, how you doing? Your Dodgers are 2-0 already. Plan the parade.
Yep, best team in baseball, 162-0. Let's do it. If there's any team in baseball that can fucking do it, it'll be the Dodgers. But I am doing very freaking good. So busy, man. Work has been insane. But here we are, talking some sports, talking some entertainment, talking some wrestling. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, man, things are look good. Life is good, you know? Can't complain too much. And if I do, who's going to be listening? How are you, my friend?
Not us, that's for sure. I am also well. Nice to hear that, man. I saw that you're booking work trips again pretty soon. You're going to be back out on the sky. Hopefully your ankle doesn't explode. That's fun.
Yeah, kind of hoping for that one. Yeah, it's you know, the one good thing is like work trips has always kind of been like a Sunday to Tuesday, Sunday to Wednesday thing, and you know, which kind of works out because as we've been talking about for the past few weeks, we're deciding on when the best day to record is. Some weeks we'll do a classic BAM episode. Some days we'll focus on just sports, just wrestling. But at the end of the day, you know, it's one of those things where it's, at the end of the day, we're going to try to get something out weekly and we're going to have fun doing it. And to me, that is the most important thing, is just having fun doing this. That's really it. You know, once it stops being fun, that's when we stop doing it. But yeah, man, it's just work's been, like I say, it's just been so fucking crazy. Really looking forward to crossing the border. Have no fucking idea what's going to happen there. That's a conversation for another talk, for another show or something. But yeah, man, it's like legit something that I'm concerned about at this point.
No doubt. Yeah, our following episode will be coming to you live from an ICE detention center. Boris,
live from Cuba.
Oh yeah, scary times for the whole world, really, politically. But yeah, we're not doing. We'll talk about that on BAM Politics from an ICE detention center to be named later. But yeah, man. Hopefully you can travel safe in all ways. And we're gonna try to do more of these in person in the summer as well. Hopefully, but I'm thinking.
As my ankle does get better, right? Like I'm doing well. I'm way ahead of schedule, but it's still not 100%, right?
Of course, yeah.
Still a possibility that I can get up and like one of those pins break, like the ones that go through the foot or the ankle, and you know that's all she wrote in terms of that. But yeah, we'll see, man. But yeah, the plan is in the summer at some point to do more in-person shows, and yeah, like I say, this channel is going to be evolving. I don't know what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I barely know what we do yesterday, for Christ's sake, right? But like I said, we're going to try to get something out every week, whether it's a classic BAM, whether it's a sports-centric, wrestling-centric. We're going to try to do something for the masses. And like I say, at the end of the day, it's really just a playground for you and I to have some fun. Elimination Chamber did open up some doors and opportunities and possibilities. But man, like I maintain, as long as it's fun, you know, this isn't as long as it's fun.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely. We're blessed to have some leftover fans from Jason Agnew and Sunday night's main event, and we're just trying to make good content for them and for us, and like you said, have some fun doing it. So let us begin by talking some sports. As we said off the hop, your Dodgers are 2-0, looking absolutely unbeatable already in baseball. It's a long season, but boy, they look good.
Yeah. The Dodgers. Yeah, man, they are. They're looking all right. They're looking half decent,
Mm.
to say the least. Otani's shoulder seems like it's a lot better. Uh, he
Yeah.
delivered a hell of a home run, even though I don't think it was a home run, but I'll take it. Thank you, MLB, for that one. I can't wait for the Dodgers are rigging stuff. Where the Kansas City Chiefs of the MLB bullshit to start.
You
Like I
know it's
said,
coming.
other teams have the opportunity to spend. Talk to your fucking owners, Rogers.
Yeah, well, the Blue Jays try to spend, but nobody wants to come here, and they're often used as leverage. They're everybody's second or third choice.
Not
Toronto
even.
is not, not even, yeah, if that. If we're lucky, they're on the podium somewhere. But yeah, so Dodgers look very good. They were missing Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, who, other than Otani, are probably their two best players, and they still dusted the Chicago Cubs in Tokyo. Yamamoto, the pitcher they got last year from Japan, looking like a stud, looking like he might be Cy Young level. Roki Sasaki, the pitcher they got this year from Japan, who made his first MLB start. He looks a little iffier. He had a little bit of a harder time. To me, it looks like Roki Sasaki, and it's very early to say this, but his destiny in baseball might be to be the greatest closer in baseball. You know what I mean? He has a
Yep.
repertoire that looks to me like the receiver, like the relief pitcher repertoire. You know what I mean? He has two pitches really, that fork ball and a crazy fastball. It doesn't really throw anything else, and it seems to me like he has a closer's repertoire. How do you feel about that?
I agree with that, Ray. Like, if this was 20, 30 years ago, 100%. But nowadays, man, you're starting to, and I have a feeling you're going to start seeing pitchers where they only have 2 or 3 pitches. You're not, gone are the days of 7 pitches for a starter, I think, man. But having said that, I 100% do agree with you. Again, like Ray, it's who the hell's going to know? But you know who stayed consistently inconsistent?
Who's that?
Nate Pearson for the Cubs.
Yeah, Nate Pearson gave up that almost home run that they actually counted to Shohei Ohtani. Former Toronto Blue Jays top prospect Nate Pearson to you. And yeah, you're right. There are very few Chris Bassett's in the league, who is one of the people who have like 10 pitches, and he'll throw a curveball, fastball, sinker, slider, sweeper, slurve. He has all these pitches, but there are very few guys like that who have that deep bag. There will be more Roki Sasaki's, I suppose, in the coming months and years and decades of baseball as the starting pitcher slowly goes extinct.
And then in 10, 15 years from now, some scout is going to find some little fucker who can pitch 7 pitches and, this guy's the best, right? Because then batters aren't going to be used to seeing so many pitches from one person. It's just still the way the trends go, right?
That's true. It is cyclical. Baseball of all sports is very cyclical like that. It's interesting to see how they develop. But yeah, the Dodgers look absolutely unbelievable. Like, look at their batters. They probably have the best lineup on paper. If Roki Sasaki hits like he's supposed to, they probably have the best starting rotation on paper. And their bullpen is filthy. Filthy. They're just pulling these guys out like Kirby Yates coming in like, oh, I remember him. He was one of the best relievers in baseball over the past 5 years. Like, all these guys just show up out of nowhere on the Dodgers. So that's an all-star team yet again. They probably have the best lineup, best rotation, and best bullpen, at least top 3 in all of those categories. They're fucking sick, man. You dirty bastard, Boris. Fuck you.
No, it's true, man. It's true. Yeah. Fuck me. That's true. It'll be interesting, right? Look, I've waited a long time for the Dodgers to be good in general, and they're very much a slick, they'll have a few good years, few bad years, but I'll take it while I can. I was watching some random, flipping the channels last night, right before Dynamite, or right after it, or during. I don't even remember when it was. Anyways, you know who I saw pitch, and he still looks pretty damn good 10 years later?
Who's that?
Liam Hendricks. Remember Liam Hendricks? Good old Aussie, oi, former Blue Jays pitcher, super hot wife. That's all. That's really my takeaway from him. The super hot wife.
Classic Aussie wife. Who does he pitch for these days? Old Liam Hendricks.
The Sox, red.
With red, not white. Heaven forbid. The White Sox are fucking horrible. Last year they set the record for the worst baseball team, and this year they're not going to be much better. Nice to see Liam Hendricks out there. And yeah, the start of next week, Boris, like Monday night, maybe Tuesday, we're going to do our big 30-team baseball preview. Tell you exactly what we feel about the season. Can anyone dethrone the LA Dodgers, or are they going back to back like Drake?
Nah, not at all. I don't think so. It's much harder to do in baseball nowadays, but you never know, right? The Yankees. Oh, can we talk about the? Yes, you're right. So we're gonna do the big preview early next week. But before we even that, let's preview the preview with the Yankees and their starting pitching issues already.
Yeah, Garrett Cole out for season. Tommy John, you hate to see it. Although in this day and age, it's almost like everybody who throws hard, which is 75 to 85% of all major league pitchers, are going to have a Tommy John surgery at some point. So it's just like at some point in their prime, you're going to lose a year of baseball. And it's sad, but it's almost inevitable now.
Yeah, but it's not like it happens a lot, right? But remember around 2009 to 2015, it honestly, like, there were debates whether young men were going through Tommy John surgery on purpose to actually make themselves throw harder.
Yeah, I do remember those conspiracy theories, I guess you would call them. I don't know if you'd want to risk that kind of procedure, although
Right.
it's not like it's not open heart surgery there, but it's not a small procedure. Surgery is fucking surgery. You're going under the knife, buddy. You're out for 16 months usually after a Tommy John before you're even close to the same. So yeah, it just sucks. It's another part of the evolution of the sport where guys just have to throw at least 95, 96 miles an hour just to get a sniff of the big leagues these days. And you have people like Garrett Cole who have had crazy arm issues and are now out for season. But the Yankees are in trouble. I feel like Baltimore's in a little bit of trouble. Tampa Bay's playing in a minor league stadium this year, so it's tough to know what you're going to get. The Jays are iffy, but the Jays could have a good year. You know who's going to win the AL East and who has a really fucking good team this year is the Boston Red Sox. They terrify me this year. They have a really good team on paper.
They should. Right, they should easily win the AL East. But with the Jays, honestly, my biggest fear with the Jays is just locker room distractions and bullshit.
Yeah, I understand that. Hopefully, they can play baseball well enough that goes away. But it's like the better they play, the less talk there's going to be about Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leaving. If they start the season 10-30. And they're deep under 500, it's going to be the talk all year. If they get going and the ball starts rolling downhill and people are more focused on the fact that there are W's coming out of the Rogers Center, I feel like that's going to go to the wayside a little bit. So the Jays have to start strong or else the wheels are going to come off that wagon real fucking fast, buddy.
Real fucking fast. It'll be like 2015, the first half of 2015. Remember, like, you know, the pre-Josh Donaldson sit down and closed door meeting where everyone thought, just remember, everyone thought that what's his face? What was our GM? Anthopoulos and
Anthopoulos.
They were all going to get fired by that point if it wasn't for the huge turnaround that they did in 2015.
And now pretty much every Toronto Blue Jays game fan would lob off their left arm to have Anthopoulos back. I would give anything to have Anthopoulos back as GM of the Jays.
Yeah. He did ballsy moves, right? Like he went all in. Let's just say that. He went all in. There's debates
That's why they call
how
him
smart that was.
All in Anthopoulos, but I think it worked out. I mean, we were pretty goddamn good in 2015, 2016. It's baseball, right? A couple pitches here and there, a couple bounces here and there. I definitely had more confidence in that team than I do this one, but we shall see. You know, the season starts on Thursday, March 27th in earnest. It's already technically started, but there's also still spring training. The spiritual opening day of baseball is Thursday the 27th, which is a week from when we record this, and it's going to be a fun season, man. I love baseball. Summer's here. Summer's here, brother. Even
Yep.
though it's not quite spring yet.
Right. But the outside, man, that weather we've been getting here and there, right? The little teases of summer have just been just beautiful. Just beautiful here.
Absolutely. Yeah, Toronto has been very nice lately. Loving that. Loving that, homie. Although I'm sure it's supposed to go under freezing again for the next couple of days, and then hopefully we kick the last of winter as we officially enter spring in the next couple of days.
Yep. All right. Let us. So yeah, full MLB preview early next week. That is coming down the pipe. Let's shift for something that a lot of people are probably watching right now, and I wonder how many brackets are broken. And that is for the NCAA men's basketball and women's tournament.
Yes, March Madness. My bracket's already looking pretty rouge. Lots of rouge already for this cat. McNeese pulling out the biggest upset of the tournament so far. They just defeated Clemson in a game that they led throughout, but were almost gacking up at the end. They did, in fact, pull it out. It's been a fun tournament so far. Have you looked into it? Did you fill out a bracket at all? Who you like this year?
Honestly, they've been so removed this year. I'm just gonna go with what what my heart always says, and that's Gonzaga. Even though they're gonna probably be crashing out, if not, not by now, very soon.
Yes, well, as we record this, Gonzaga is stomping Georgia.
Yeah.
But they are an 8 seed this year, and if they win this match, they're going to play Houston in the second round. And Houston's the team that I have selected this year to win it all, although what the fuck do I know? But yeah, Houston's a really good team. That could be the end of Gonzaga in round 2. But Houston's really good this year. Duke is really good this year. Florida is really good this year. Those are 3 number 1 seeds. Neither one of them are the actual number 1 overall seed, which is Auburn. But I do feel like Auburn is flawed. I don't expect Auburn to win the tournament. But yeah, Duke is a very good shout. Florida is fucking sick. It was sad to watch the Selection Sunday special this year, the first year without the late, great Greg Gumbel, who passed away. That was actually it was very nice. They did a little tribute for him, but man, that's so sad. Like, he is the voice of March Madness, absolutely synonymous with college basketball and specifically the playoff tournament that we all love. So yeah, rest in peace to the great Gumbel. And man, it was tough. It was tough watching that one without him.
Yeah, man, it's the voice of our childhood. It's like, yeah, man, it's. You just get used to it. You just get used to stuff, and it's like that grim reminder that, man, we are getting older. And you just never know whether tomorrow is guaranteed or what. Literally one step can change your entire life. And that's something that I fucking learned. But yeah. So now that we bummed out half the other half, or the other half that we already didn't alienate, let's move on.
Yes. Very good. So that's all the depressing sports that we can pack in. I guess we could do a quick thing about steroids.
You want more depressing sports? Maple Leafs.
Let's go. Let's a quick 25 on the Toronto Maple Leafs, slumping heading down the stretch. Although they did stomp Calgary the other night, which was frustrating because I picked up Dustin Wolf in a fantasy league and he got fucking pulled for like the first time all year. So, hey, great. I hate the Leafs even more now. But the Leafs are slumping, which is nice because the Ottawa Senators and Montreal Canadiens are surging right now. It very easily could be a Toronto versus Ottawa or Toronto versus Montreal first round series if it breaks right. Hockey is hockeying down the stretch here.
Yeah. Montreal now officially in a playoff spot after beating Ottawa yesterday, I believe. And yeah, man, it's yep. You know what the one thing about hockey, I know we've talked about this, but around this time, it's just, I get reminded each and every single year for the past few years that this playoff format needs to fucking change because I'm getting sick and tired of facing the same 2 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So the NHL playoff format is basically divisional. Like, you stay within your division, and there are many tournaments that happen throughout. I know what you're saying, although if you do look, if they were to switch back to the old playoff format of 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5 in every conference, not that much
Exactly.
changes.
Yeah.
It's really not that big a difference. And I guess we do get the rivalry games like Tampa Bay and Florida has become a very entertaining and heated rivalry, specifically because they're playing so many meaningful games and now playoff series against each other. But I know what you mean. I'm a little sick of Toronto versus Tampa or Toronto versus Florida or Toronto versus Boston first round. Like I would like to see a little more variety in there. I agree with you, buddy. And it's so weird because I don't think any hockey fan disagrees with that opinion.
No.
Pretty much everyone feels the exact way that you do, but Gary Bettman will not fucking change it. He won't.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Gary Bettman is just a strange cat. He's so he literally. I honestly feel like out of every commissioner that's out there, well, Goodell's different, but he just goes out of his way to piss off the fans, and then they wonder why NHL doesn't get more popular in the States.
Yeah, he's got a lot of that Kanye West can't tell me nothing. Like if he comes up with an idea, it is very hard to get him off of that idea. The Arizona Coyotes being the prime example. He fucking that team should have died 10 years before it did, but he would not let those guys die.
Nah, who's worse, Arizona Coyotes or Tampa Bay Rays?
Oh, well, I honestly the Coyotes were slightly worse because the Rays still managed to win. The Rays still managed to make the playoffs almost every year, despite the fact that they also don't have an arena right now. But their arena woes are at least because of natural disasters, not because of sheer incompetence, like the Arizona Coyotes woes were.
Earthquake and Tugboat weren't around. What are you talking about?
That's true. Yeah, perhaps if they were starting for the Coyotes, we'd have a different. We'd be singing a different tune.
Congrats to them on making the WWE Hall of Fame. That's really cool. What did I want to? Oh yeah. So the other thing that I just thought of is, speaking of the Tampa Bay woes, how is it that they're playing in the Yankees AAA facility? Can't sell that out, but the Savannah Banana, whatever, fucking the white person's Harlem Globetrotters can sell out the NFL stadium in Tampa. Like, it's so sad, the state of affairs in Tampa Bay baseball.
Yeah, having said what I just did about the Rays being better than the Arizona Coyotes, that's a low bar to clear. Like the Tampa Bay Rays are still an embarrassing franchise. That's so funny, man. The Savannah Bananas are the Caucasian Harlem Globetrotters. That's absolutely fucking brilliant. That's so true.
It's true. It's so beyond true. Yeah, I don't know. It's the next couple of years, remember how much everyone hated Montreal at the end when they were playing in Puerto Rico and stuff? It was like, yeah, this is going to be like 10 times worse.
Yeah, we're getting near that way for Tampa Bay. Although they are playing 81 games in a minor league stadium, I feel like draft some Tampa Bay Rays in your fantasy leagues because there might be some inflated offensive numbers playing in a smaller park like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We talked some NCAA. We talked some MLB. How are you feeling about the NBA right now?
It's like the big time, the dog days of spring here, of the late winter, early spring. It's like, well, last night the Knicks, for example, missing Jalen Brunson, lost a game to the Spurs, who were missing De'Aaron Fox and Wembanyama. You know what I mean? It's like any game that you watch, there's at least one, if not three or four major names sitting in the press box or sitting on the bench. Like, so it's tough to really watch NBA right now, especially with so many other things happening. Baseball starting, March Madness in full swing, hockey being actually more entertaining down the stretch than it is in October. I feel like basketball is less entertaining as the season goes on until the playoffs when it's really good again.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. The whole Bronny stuff is just, to me, it's just entertaining. More entertaining than anything. Luka just demolishing with the Lakers has been a fun storyline. The other storyline is the Maverick players getting paid extra to tell the fans to stop saying fire Nico and stuff like that, man. Like I'm sorry, but when you can only a few weeks ago, the Dallas Mavericks got so desperate that they only had 7 players available to play a game. Like this is the like MLB, like Major League, the movie types of storylines. Like I've never seen a team try to tank so hard to literally move like this.
There's a conspiracy out there that the Dallas Mavericks new owners are trying to like basically piss off their fan base so badly that they can move to Las Vegas without much complaint. And while it seems like a ridiculous conspiracy on the surface, if you think to like about Christmas time, if you look at everything they've done since the calendar flipped to 2025, you wouldn't do a thing different if you were trying to kill the franchise. There wouldn't be a single thing that you would change if you were actually trying to kill this team. So I sure hope that's not the case for Dallas fans' sake, but who knows? And the shittiest thing is, too, if you're Dallas, the Cowboys are god awful now and they're going in the wrong direction. The Mavericks have suddenly become the biggest garbage barge in all of sports. And the Texas Rangers, who are a Dallas team, after winning the World Series, shit their drawers last year. So all you have are the Dallas Stars, and no one in Texas cares about hockey. They might. The Dallas Stars are fucking sick. They're a really good team.
That's the irony about this. But you know what?
Very well
in Dallas, you know who's going to care? Absolutely no one. You know who's going to care? Those old school Minnesota North Star fans who like kept watching the team when they left.
Exactly right. There's probably more Dallas Stars fans in Minnesota than there are in Dallas somehow.
Yeah, and Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
Yes. Shout out to Pacey, the great Pacey.
I like how that took a second for you to realize that. Thank you.
I'm for it. I'm wildly for it.
Sports, very wild time. But honestly, this is like almost my favorite time when you have all the playoffs happening or starting, and MLB is starting, and things get really juicy in the NFL in terms of just free agency and whatnot. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Any quick NFL things you want to talk about with some of the moves that have been happening?
No, it's interesting to see how the quarterback carousel is shaking out. It seems like nobody wants Aaron Rodgers, which warms my heart, of course. But it's going to be cool to see. You know what does frustrate me? And as a Dolphins fan, I'm sure you can agree to this. They still haven't found a halfway competent backup quarterback. We signed Zach Wilson, the former New York Jet, the MILF hunter. Zach Wilson, that's our backup? Give me a fucking break.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, I really don't get it. It's we don't. It's not. Look, here's the thing about the Dolphins. Not only do we need a backup, we need a starter at this point.
Well, I do like Tua when he's out there, but it's a big risk. The next he's like we've said this before, man, on the show. He's in that Eric Lindros territory of the next big hit that he takes at any time might be his last, not just in his career either. Like he's skating on very thin ice. They I don't know, they're risking a lot by putting it almost feels to me like they refuse to get a competent backup so as to force their hand to play Tua, to play him through injuries, to play him through everything. Like they keep him as the only option on purpose so that they have to fucking use him. Do you know what I mean?
Here's the thing, man. And I don't know how to say this without sounding like, without making, whatever. I'll just say it. If in 10 years we hear that Tua goes on a violent fucking rage, it won't surprise me.
Sad, but true. Like, yeah, man, we've seen. Yeah, not everyone who has had numerous concussions is going to become a Chris Benoit, but some do. Like, yeah, it's just bad. It's just a bad look overall. I hope for Tua's long health. And last year when he went out, we were both like, oh man, as longtime Dolphins fan who love this guy and want to see him succeed, we both wanted him to retire. And I still feel like that. Like I would feel more comfortable cheering for the Dolphins if Tua retired straight up. Absolutely.
But here's the thing, man. At least we don't have Deshaun Watson as our quarterback.
True, very true. But neither do the Browns anymore because he popped his Achilles. So yeah, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Could be worse, my friend. Yeah, so that's sports for you. Let us flip the page to some entertainment. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just for all you nerds out there, Daredevil Born Again has been fun. Very good. Very good. Hopefully this brings back some luster into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's been a lot of fun. There's just a lot of good stuff happening right now. Netflix has a hugely popular and controversial show, Adolescence.
Yeah.
AK, let's it's I saw it. Great show. I want to talk about it someday, but not today, because there's just really a lot of interesting reading and seeing reactions to that show. It's kind of like they're proving their point with just the reactions to the show.
Interesting. I haven't seen it, but I have heard that it's very good and pretty intense. English show, correct? It's like a
Yep.
British show, and
Yep.
yeah, no, I have not seen it myself. So yeah, I'll definitely try to get on that so we can talk about that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. You should, man. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch at times, but it is a conversation that needs to happen because, man, things are just effed at times. Things are just effed at times in this world.
And it's
But
tough.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say it's tough for people of all ages, but yeah, one thing that I've been watching recently on Netflix as well is the John Mulaney talk show, Everybody's Live. It used to be Everybody's in LA, but I guess the the powers that be at Netflix realized that people don't like LA, and just branding it with Los Angeles was turning people off the show. So now it's Everybody's Live, and it's like a looser feel than a normal talk show. I kind of like it. It's like perfect throw it on in the background type programming. You know what I mean? It doesn't require your full attention. It's John Mulaney and a couple of his friends having a conversation about something. You know what it is? It's like the Tonight Show meets Orange Cassidy's entire gimmick. It's about whatever, hailing from wherever, but it's still a pretty entertaining bit of work. And I love John Mulaney, so it makes me smile. I definitely recommend, if you want to turn your brain off and just have something going in the background, recommend checking out John Mulaney's talk show. Everybody's Live is now what it's called.
Yeah, no, it's like you see, you said it best, right? It's a good background show. It's the type of show that I watch as I'm trying to fall asleep. It's like if I fall asleep, I fall asleep, right? But it's a good watch. It's a funny watch. Every Wednesday, I believe, right?
Yes, Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Los Angeles time, live on Netflix, like Monday Night Raw.
Yep. Live on Netflix, possibly just like UFC soon, which will be interesting. Wonder if UFC is going to drop their pay-per-view format to go to like a Netflix or something.
That would be something that gets me back into watching UFC pretty regularly. I have fallen out. This has been like the least amount of MMA UFC that I've watched since their boom, since they like really broke out large in like 04, 05. And a lot of it is because of the Trump stuff, because watching a major UFC pay-per-view from the United States now feels like a Trump rally, and that is so off-putting. Regardless of your political affiliation, it's gross to just be like, if it was like a pro Bill Clinton rally or a pro fucking, Jagmeet Singh rally, it would also be annoying and off-putting. But yeah, it's very annoying how politicized UFC has become. So I've been pretty much turned off the UFC. But if it did show up on Netflix, I'd give it another go.
Yep, same here. And I think that's the idea there, right? I know a lot of people who would go back to watching UFC if they went to a Netflix of sorts. So that's something to keep your eye on, especially with the whole TKO association. They obviously know people now, so yeah, we'll see what happens there in the near future. There was something else I wanted to talk about in the entertainment space, but I completely forgot what it was. Guess it wasn't too important. Matt, let us talk some professional wrestling. Tons to talk about in the wrestling world. Like I said, every week we're going to try to get we're going to do a classic BAM. We're going to do a wrestling specific show. We're going to try to get something out. But again, huge thanks to everyone for always leaving feedback and comments. But I wanted to kind of get your take on a few things. Number one, Road to WrestleMania. Is this feeling like a road to WrestleMania? And here's what do you think?
I think we've been blessed the last few years with Cody Rhodes finally finishing his story and the big main event with all those run-ins and stuff. By the time we actually got to WrestleMania, it did feel like a really big culmination. This year, I understand people's frustration. It feels a little weak. It's one of those years where Christmas doesn't quite feel like Christmas. You know what I mean? There's not enough snow on the ground. It's not quite there. But I don't think it's as bad as some people are acting. That's what I say about everything in wrestling, though. Like the negativity of wrestling fans really does bug me. It's a beautiful, crazy, ridiculous business that is meant to be enjoyed, not nitpicked to death. Like the way that certain people just choose to engage with wrestling from the jump. I think they go about it wrong. Having said that, if you're disappointed that this build to WrestleMania feels a little lackluster, I understand that. I do see where you're coming from. I don't know, like there are good things though. There are pretty cool moments, like the John Cena heel turn promo from Brussels, Belgium, with the crowd fucking screaming at him, and then Cody Rhodes coming out and getting an absolute hero's welcome. That was awesome. That was a classic bit of pro wrestling that really made me excited to see that eventual match. There are some gems still being pumped out by the wrestling business and specifically by WWE on this road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, so this kind of ties in, and so I kind of feel the same, man. Wrestling fans just kill me sometimes, both mentally and physically. It's like here's part of the issue. Yes, it doesn't feel like last year's WrestleMania. Having said that, it's so much. I think people forget how shitty WWE was from like 2017 to about 2022.
Dude, if you wanted to be a dick about it, you'd say 2007 until 2022.
I was very close to saying that.
Yeah, like legitimately, but especially like the 19, 20, 21-ish era. We say it all the time, but it chased our boy Jason Agnew away. Wrestling was so bad that it chased Jason Agnew away. Not even TNA or the worst of Ring of Honor could do that, but WWE did it, by God. Yeah, man, it's better than it has been in recent vintage. And also, WrestleMania is still a fucking month away. It's the 19th and the 20th of April is WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? It is now March 20th as we record this. There's a month of build still to happen. So you can't just rush everything. You know what I mean? Certain things are still simmering on the back burner. So yeah, no, I don't think it's been that bad. Is it as good as the best years? Absolutely not. Is it as good as even last year? No. It's not, but I don't think it's been that bad. There are things that you can point to that have been pretty solid, I think.
Exactly. And, you know, what I think the biggest issue with all of this is, Matt, March of 2025 might go down in history as one of the most insane and best months for professional wrestling ever. I know it's a bold statement, but you know me with bold statements, right? You know, it's March 2025, I think, is one of the best months for pro wrestling ever. March 1st was the Elimination Chamber. Let's just remember that.
John Cena's heel turn. Not 3 full weeks ago, John Cena finally fucking turned heel, guys. It happened. I agree. They don't call you Hot Boris because of your pictorial in Playboy magazine, buddy. You are the hot take king. And I agree with you. Like there's a lot of good that's happening. If you watch AEW, you're bound to see a great match every week. You can nitpick certain things about the AEW show, but for example, last night I watched only the Fatal 4-Way match. Started Dynamite, watched that Fatal 4-Way, had a blast, thought it was awesome, thought it was a ton of fun, showed you a lot about Speedball Mike Bailey, showed you a lot about Ricochet, had some good interplay with the 4 characters in that match. I thought it had a very creative and entertaining finish. And then, you know what, there was a little bit of the problem with AEW is they stuffed that match so much that I was full on wrestling, you know what I mean? I watched that match, the opener of Dynamite, and I was like, I think I'm good. I think I need a little wrestling break. And I loved it, but I took a little break. And that's it. I'm still not all the way through Dynamite. I've still only watched that first match, but I did quite enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a great match. My only thing is it's typical AEW in the sense of the whole, what's the word? Mike Bailey. He
Yes.
just got here, red hot.
Yep.
Fans are starting
Yep.
to learn who he is. He ain't winning the title against Omega and Rick O'Shea.
No. No, he is not against St. Patrick's favorite wrestler, Reek O'Shea. No, I think Mike Bailey is going to be in that match to lose to Kenny Omega. So I kind of know what you're driving at there. Although it would be silly for us to get upset about that before it actually happens. Let us see how they do it, and if
Fair.
Ricochet,
Fair.
let's see if Mike Bailey actually does lose before we get mad about it. But I know what you're saying. It's I don't know. In a way, it's like shitty and lame to have Mike Bailey in this match that he's about to lose at the pay-per-view. But in a way, it's really cool to see him already wrestling Ricochet and Kenny Omega on the upcoming pay-per-view in a triple threat match that I'm sure will fucking slap.
Of course.
Will be very, very entertaining.
But this goes count like I know we haven't seen the outcome of this yet, just yet. But if it just like this is the stuff that prevents certain people from becoming stars in AEW, right? They come in, they're super hot, then and that's it, right? I hope that's not the case. They could have easily introduced Mike Bailey, had him have a program with like Takeshita or someone, and it would have been great. Beat him clean. Cool. Move on. But him coming in, getting 2 cool wins, and then facing Omega and Ricochet, going to be a fantastic match, but then what? Right? Then we'll have this conversation in about a week's time. And it's going to be and then what? Or a week's time or 2 weeks' time. So we'll see. But, yeah. AEW. Moxley and Copeland. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure everyone has seen clips of the fucking nails literally hanging off of Copeland or Moxley's back.
Moxley, I actually read about it, have not seen it with my own eyes yet. I have, like I said, I haven't finished Dynamite. Moxley is a fucking crazy man, though. He's an absolute sick fuck. What's interesting to me, and this is where AEW opens themselves up to complaints. I understand that match did not main event the show. What? Why? Why would you do a crazy violent match where Moxley gets fucking tarred and feathered and quartered, and you do that in the middle of the show? That seems odd.
Yeah, the match placement was very odd. What closed the show was a women's match. Yeah, Tony Storm was on commentary, but the Moxley stuff really should have ended the show. But yeah, I don't know. Did they go too far? I don't know. Honestly, at this point, to each their own. I know some people are like, classic AEW, but at this point you should know what you're going to get with AEW. Having said this is one of the hard reasons why AEW can't get new and casual fans to watch.
Very violent. The AEW product has been very violent historically, and last Wednesday on Dynamite, very fucking violent. Somebody on our board, your boy Michael Barack, I believe it was Barack Obama, said that he's done with AEW after all of this violence. Like last week's show apparently was the straw that broke the camel's back. AEW has a weird problem with match placement, specifically doing something incredibly violent and emotional and bloody and just draining in the middle of a show, and then forcing 4 or 5 matches to go after that and try to follow that disgusting display. You know what I mean? It's really weird how they don't end on the peak of their violence, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's weird, right? And you would think that something that violent would go closer to 10 p.m. than 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like if you think of it from Suits point of view, from powers that be point of view, from censors point of view. I don't know. It just, to me, it's kind of just the timing of it is very weird. Especially as WB Discovery is trying to sell people ad time for the NCAA, right? It's just interesting timing for to go like extreme like that.
1,000%, man. Yeah, so that's what's frustrating about AEW is, and it's been like this for years now, like 2 or 3 years, where they have very obvious problems that they either don't see as problems or just choose to lean into, and they don't fix, and it turns off casual fans, and like the roster bloat, the fact that characters come and go. Jeff Jarrett being a great example, like Roosh being a great example. Like there are so many guys who, were stopped and started so many times in AEW. It's just very hard to get behind any character. It's very hard to watch the show start to finish with children if you have them, or like with casual fans who are like, wow, that's a lot of blood. Like it's kind of off-putting. Like this is gross. This is not for me. But Boris, we are sickos and we both enjoy AEW for what it is. But like if you only want to attract the sick, twisted wrestling fans, then good job. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sure, whatever. It is what it is at this point, right? I feel like we know what we're gonna get with AEW, and it's that to power to each their own. The power to them. That's kind of where I'm at with AEW. Like I enjoy it. I don't want them to go anywhere, obviously, but they're just there doing their thing.
Exactly. They're just there doing their thing. And you would wish it would be a little more of the original mission statement of AEW, which was to celebrate all of professional wrestling. For example, the wrestler Homicide. AEW should have been tributing that guy. He really should have had his retirement match in AEW, or God, at the very least in Ring of Honor. Tony Khan should be writing that final check for this man. And Homicide is retiring tonight on an independent show. And that's in a way kind of sad because he was like a huge star. There's a universe where he is one of the big names of AEW. Maybe if it came out a little earlier than it did. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit of Homicide, former Ring of Honor world champion. Yeah, boy.
Yep. Homicide, 32 years. Pro wrestling career coming to an end. Homicide giving us his final hurrah, his swan song at the Outlaw Wrestling Promotion in Brooklyn, New York. Homicide's going to be teaming with Bull James, and he's taking on Alpha Jr. and Mike Santana. Yeah, man, Homicide's been there. I'm sure you've seen him. And if you don't recognize him, I'm sure you've seen him, whether it be TNA, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be your local independent. This guy has been around for 32 fucking years, Matt. 32 years. And this guy's been a mainstay. He made his career in Ring of Honor and TNA, most notable for those two promotions. Yeah, really happy to see him. I know that it's sad in a sense because the reason he's retiring is because of a medical issue and whatnot. But the fact that he can go out on his terms, in a sense, you know what I mean? Not his terms, but also his terms.
Yeah. He's still healthy enough to call his own shot and to say like, this is when I'm leaving, and to get his flowers, as it were. And yeah, one of the most influential wrestlers of the last 20 years, like your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler kind of cliche is Homicide. If you had to point to his best matches, for sure, when he beat Bryan Danielson, ended Bryan Danielson's legendary Ring of Honor title run. I believe it was like winter 2006. Homicide defeated Bryan Danielson after Danielson held the title for all of 2006 and most of 2005, or some of 2005, all of 2006. Homicide beats him. Homicide, like you said, a part of a great tag team, LAX in TNA. In some of the not the dark ages of TNA, but TNA was hit and miss, and he would always be a hit. Always just reliable, entertaining promo guy. Just a great, crazy wrestler who could wrestle technically if he needed to. If he needed to mix it up and do the technical match, he could do that. He could wrestle high flyers, but I feel like Homicide was most at home in a weapons match, a gross, dirty, gritty fight. We've seen him have those, even against guys like Colt Cabana. Did you ever see the Homicide versus Colt Cabana ghetto street fight?
Yep, absolutely. Those were good. My favorite Homicide matches was his series against Adam Pearce. Raw GM Adam Pearce.
Hey, yeah, great shout. Great shout. Yes, exactly. He's such a long career, dude. Yeah, he wrestled so many different guys up and down ROH cards. He was even tag team champions in NWA with Eddie Kingston for a while, kind of when Eddie Kingston was coming back into mainstream wrestling fandom. Homicide has been with Eddie Kingston the whole way. You know, they're boys. Yeah, man, it's both nice and like heartwarming, but also kind of sad that he never really got his cup of coffee on the very main stage. Even when he was with TNA, there were leagues below WWE. Now that AEW is bigger now than TNA ever has been, it would have been cool to see him get more time in AEW.
Yeah, and like I said, again, I'm pretty sure Homicide wanted to go out his way, but I'm still shocked that he didn't make a final appearance for Ring of Honor, for AEW, for even TNA. Right? It's interesting, but Homicide, man, like everyone is tweeting about him. CM Punk has added a Instagram story. Adam Pearce has, Danielson has. Like, you name a major influential wrestler today, they are talking about Homicide.
1,000%, and deservedly so. Like, go back and watch some of his best matches. Just type Homicide into YouTube. Check out some
Homicide
of his promos.
wrestler.
Check out some of his.
Be very careful when you YouTube.
that is another thing that probably hurt him just a tad, and it's kind of dumb to say, but it's true. Like that name and that gimmick does kind of hurt you on a mainstream level just a little bit. But he is an indie star through and through. He's like almost like a Doug Stanhope of comedy. Homicide is like a pure, just brutal, gritty indie professional wrestler is Homicide.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like when he started as a wrestler, mid to late 90s, that was the thing. His name was cool. He was Homicide, right? Like it was so ECW of him.
The Notorious 187. Let's go, man. Absolutely. He was ECW. He was carrying on the tradition of the gangsters. The new Jack, in a way, is Homicide, although he's way better and less insane than New Jack was. Though Homicide did have some fucking crazy matches. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. So there it is. Kudos to the career of Homicide, man. Take care of yourself. Man, like again, it's sucks that he's leaving, but I'm happy that he'll be able to at least somewhat enjoy his retirement with both his legs and his brain intact.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if he were to come into Ring of Honor as maybe like a manager, maybe the new Julius Smokes or the new Prince Nana could be Homicide. Maybe he could be Ring of Honor commissioner. Maybe he could be in TNA in some capacity and hit a vertebreaker, hit a cop killer on a big heel every now and then, but not have to take any bumps or whatever. Like, it would be cool to see Homicide involved in the wrestling business still.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a way. Want to end the show with some from list user. I'm in technology when some listener feedback.
Yeah, please, let's do it.
All right, as we do each and every single week here on A Plus Productions, whether it be BAM, A Plus Wrestling, what any show, we like listening to you, the listener. It is about you, the listener. That's why I feel bad when we don't get a show out. But real life happens. I'll be honest. There are weeks where my ankle is just like I just feel so out of it because of my ankle that I just can't fathom talking to anyone. This whole ankle thing has been just a mind fuck. But every day feeling better. But we do have feedback. We do have good chats there on the good old Facebook group. Good old tradition that we've continued from Jason Agnew and Company. Facebook.com. And all you need to do is search for A Plus Productions. All right. Every week we do like taking feedback, especially on the wrestling side. So let's start with Blaine's because this is my take a little while. All right. Blaine.
Shout out Blaine.
Blaine. All right. He says, some really strange booking going on in all companies. I am very confused about the match selection for WrestleMania thus far, particularly on the women's side. The triple threat scenario just seems very forced. For a company that prides itself on storytelling, this is just weak. The match will be good, of course, but there's no real reason to care about any of this, and it doesn't feel like a WrestleMania quality match. But then again, I was hoping for Rhea versus Jordan and Charlotte versus Tessa. So it may be a little harder on the current selections, but it's not really even about the matches, but more the stories or lack thereof. If they had decided to do Jade versus Bianca, I think I'd be a lot more forgiving because it's been teased for a year now. All right, where do we start tearing this apart? What are you talking about, shitty story? They're telling a great story. Io Sky is not being respected as a champion, and she's had it. Rhea Ripley and Bianca thought they were going to take the spotlight, but no, Io went in, she won the belt, and she's being disrespected. What's so hard to follow the story on that?
Yeah, I don't agree with that being like a bad story at all. I kind of like the Io Bianca Rhea three-way thing they have going. Reminiscent of the Chris Benoit Triple H Shawn Michaels build to that legendary triple threat match that has since been lost to time at WrestleMania 20 with Rhea coming in and signing the contract there.
I think people forget how Danielson just inserted himself into Roman Reigns' Edge a few years ago.
Yes, exactly right. Or how Danielson kind of inserted himself into the evolution story at WrestleMania 30. Like this is a WWE trope, but maybe that's what Blaine means when he says it's unsatisfying because we've seen it 4 or 5 times already. You know what I mean? But it's still working for me. I think I disagree with that. I kind of feel him on the Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte build has been a little flat. There just hasn't been much to it. Charlotte needs to do something.
It's two blondes who just want to go at it, and not the way that I want them to go at it.
Settle out over there. No, but I think Charlotte needed to do something violent to Trish Stratus when she was being all buddy with Tiffany. I think Charlotte needed to get some heel heat that way. That would have been interesting. It's not too late to have Charlotte go like super heel, but for now, I do agree that build has been a little flat for sure. But I do like the Rhea Io Bianca stuff. I actually think that's been hitting for me.
Yeah, same here. Also, congratulations, 25 years today. Celebration for Trish Stratus making her WWE debut. Watching some good old Test and Prince Albert, and then they formed the good old TNA tag team.
Yes, TNA, Trish Stratus, the manager of Tits and Ass, the tag team. Rest in peace, Test. He was underrated. He honestly had a little something. He had some good runs. I liked Test. I was a Test guy.
You were a testicle?
I wasn't going to say it, but yes. Firmly pro Test status, buddy.
Yeah, but I never realized how young he was when he passed.
Oh, it's really sad. Wasn't he like 33?
Yeah.
He was like mid 30s at latest. Yeah, that was a fucking sad one, man. Good Canadian boy.
All right, let's continue with Blaine's feedback. Jay versus Gunther is another one. Totally feels like they're fighting over a mid-card title. If you're not going to book the Royal Rumble winner in the top build match on the card, then either don't have them win the Rumble or get rid of the event altogether. That's a bit harsh. We've seen this so many times where the winner of the Royal Rumble will take on the quote-unquote other major champion. I don't have an issue with that. To be honest, people have been clamoring for Jey Uso to get a world title. But now it's an issue?
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that story made sense. Gunther beat him a lot, beat him probably too much, honestly. But I think it's rewarding. I think it makes total sense in storyline for Jey Uso to want to vanquish that demon, to want to slay that dragon. I have to beat Gunther to prove to myself that I can. I don't mind that story. Again, is it a little flat? Is it the best WrestleMania build I've ever seen? No. But he is one of the most popular wrestlers on the planet Earth right now. He gets the biggest crowd reactions. He has an awesome entrance. It does make sense that he's getting pushed to this level. Yeah, I don't know. The whole Royal Rumble thing makes sense to me, but you can't just, like, maybe they should have just had John Cena win it. Maybe they should have just had John Cena win the Royal Rumble, but then you don't get the Elimination Chamber at all. So, yeah, you know what perhaps the answer is to only do either a men's or a women's Rumble every like 1 year on, 1 year off kind of thing. So if there wasn't even a men's Rumble at all this year and it was just the women's Rumble, maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but now we're gonna get into the territory where we're gonna get two nights of Royal Rumble, right? Um,
Yes.
you know what the biggest issue is, and I will give like Blaine and anyone who's been complaining about the Gunther Jey Uso card positioning is the fact that John Cena and Cody are just overshadowing them on Raw with this brand split. So it really does feel like a mid card title at times, right? Like on Monday, the John Cena, Cody Rhodes stuff just overshadowed anything else on that show from the men's side.
That's true. They could fix this problem pretty easily by just switching Gunther and Jey Uso full time to SmackDown and doing all of their stuff there. That's a really good point. But I understand that they're kind of mixing it up and kind of putting both things on both shows as we get down WrestleMania season. It's not a hard divide like it used to be between Raw and SmackDown, but I agree with that. It's a great point. That makes total sense, and that would alleviate some of that pressure if they did split them up a little more.
All right, let's get to the last part of Blaine's feedback here. Again, Blaine, thanks so much for all of your contributions on A+. Here we go. I feel like AEW does a reset following every pay-per-view where guys basically just change dance partners on the fly. There was a bit of continuity with Edge and Moxley, but why wasn't that the main event as in the last match on the show? They sacrificed that spot for Megan Bayne. Seriously. Now, that's another thing, right? Megan Bayne is another one. Bring her in. The past few weeks, months, she's been like this powerful force. She kicks Chris Statlander's ass. She kicks other people's asses, and now you're gonna put her with Toni Storm to most likely lose. Again, we haven't seen the show, but most likely lose. I hope she doesn't lose her any momentum that she has.
Well, you can only have one person at the top, right? So to me, it's a little bit like the Hulk Hogan thing. Like every month or 2 months or 3 months, there would be a new giant for Hulk Hogan to slay. And they would start at the top of the card and work their way down, kind of. And that's sort of how you book monster heels versus a dominant babyface champion, which I imagine Tony Storm's going to be for a little bit. I understand that criticism though. That makes more sense to me than some of what Blade has said in the past. Just kidding, buddy. But no, I wholeheartedly accept that. Like it's like, where did Megan Bayne come from? Who is this person? Why are we supposed to take her seriously as a main event?
Are you dating Joey Janela?
Is that a thing? Is that a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Dang. Joey Janela, he's wheeled some pretty. He was with Penelope Ford for a long time. Good for Joey Janela, the most hated wrestler of Jim Cornette and Jim Cornette's fans nationwide. But yeah, so with Megan Bayne, I understand, but I do think they're doing kind of a good job with her. Like she's beating the shit out of everyone. She's laying people out with F5s. Chris Statlander makes her look really good in these matches. Like I don't think it's so bad. I don't think Megan Bayne is like this huge waste but it is confusing. It is confusing that you would main event the most recent Dynamite with Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander instead of the crazy violent world title street fight. Like that's just a silly decision for sure.
You know what's interesting for me is the fact that I honestly, in my heart of heart, feel like this whole Megan Bayne run was meant to be Camille, but for some reason it wasn't. Remember, Camille still is under contract.
Interesting. Yeah, she's one who came in, did nothing, and left. She was like female Wardlow for a hot cup of coffee, and is now gone. But
and
yeah,
she's
so
like
this
female
is what,
Wardlow.
yes, exactly. Thrown into the tall grass, never to be seen again. But so it just, if AEW had a little more goodwill with their fans and they earned a little more benefit of the doubt, you could say like, oh, well, we're in good hands here. Like for sure, Megan Bayne is going to be used and used properly. But how do we know Megan Bayne isn't going to be the new Roosh or the new Andrade or the new Miro or the new, like all of these people who have come in hot, gone absolutely nowhere, and then we're a toy put on the shelf to just be forgotten about, right? Like you shouldn't have faith that Megan Bayne will be used correctly, because very few people have been used correctly for a long-term period. Although there have been some very big success stories: Toni Storm, Mariah May, Darby Allin, MJF, Orange Cassidy. A lot of people have gotten more over in AEW, but a lot of people have gotten less over in AEW as well.
Excellent point. All right, let's get to some more feedback from our number one Australian listener, Scott Ainsworth. The crowd in Brussels was magnificent. It made that show. Although the crap with Cena took way too long and it cost the rest of the night, the AEW World Title match was a typical Moxley match. The ring is just a suggestion and just a place to end the match after a whole bunch of people getting involved. An absolutely crazy spot, spike this time, and Mox choking out someone who passes out.
Yeah, where have we seen that before? Yeah, so it's tough for me to comment on the specifics because, like I said, I haven't sat down and watched the match yet, although you can kind of picture exactly what it's going to be, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Great bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yes. Yeah, that's so funny. Caucasian bloodline. Lots of Caucasian versions of things on this show here.
Yeah, exactly, man. But yeah, no, I agree. And the Cena stuff, so what he means by the Cena stuff taking way too long is that apparently the Jey Uso and Apollo, or not Apollo, what's his name? Oh my God, who the fuck did he face on Monday?
Gunther?
No, on Monday. Not Grayson Waller, the other one.
Oh, Austin Theory.
I don't know, Apollo. Yeah, apparently that match was supposed to go about like 10 minutes longer, but it only ended up being like a minute long because the Cena stuff went too long. Like, that's the rumor.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I believe it. Hey man, the crowd was having fun. Honestly, like, that sucks. It sucks to get your time cut. Just in doing like sketch shows and stand-up shows around Toronto, I've been in that position where like your time gets cut and it really fucking sucks and it hurts. And like we've seen like the women in WrestleMania get cut off the entire pay-per-view, for example. Like, there have been worse cuts than that. It sucks, but that's John Cena in one of the most legendary segments in the history of Monday Night Raw. Like, people will be talking about that John Cena heel promo in Belgium for years. So it sucks, but honestly, like, guess what? People weren't going to remember Jey Uso versus Austin Theory 2 weeks from now. They will remember that John Cena promo. So you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, as they say.
Yep, absolutely. All right, he continues. Winter sports have started in Australia with Australian rules football, rugby league, and union. Aussie rules football, man. We should go to Hemingway's in Yorkville, not far from the 854, and watch some AFL. They open up for the AFL, like, depending on when the early games for us are, they'll stay open at like 3-4 in the morning. They won't serve booze, but you know, AFL. It's a good time. It's honestly a fun time. We should do it once. We should do it for the finals, the grand finale in October.
I'm into it. I like it. Yeah, my buddy Kyle has recently, in the last few years, moved to Australia, and he's slowly getting into the Australian culture, the Australian sports, and he'll send our group chat every now and then, like a crazy hit or a crazy catch from AFL or from a cricket game or something. And it's funny to see him slowly becoming more and more Australian with each passing day.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, and he finishes things off by saying the Fringe Festival has just wrapped up here, and we are still getting days over 30 degrees Celsius, and that must feel nice, man. Lucky you.
Sick. Yeah, no doubt. Although we don't have to deal with snakes and scorpions and every poisonous spider on the earth, so there's that. But yeah, boy, I could go for some 30 degrees right now.
I know, right? 20 degrees was nice a few days ago here in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, honestly, 20 degrees, I would take 20 degrees over 30. I'd much rather a 20-degree day.
I think both you and I, with our beautiful bodies, the way that they are, we do better at 20 degrees over 30 degrees.
That's why they call you Hot Boris. That's why. It's a physical temperature thing.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, man. That is that. Again, thank you so much to everyone for leaving feedback and being part of the chats during the wrestling shows. Facebook.com, and all you need to do is search for A+ Productions. Matt, I think this is a perfect time to wrap up the show. Last thing I want to talk about, actually. Last thing, very last thing. Lex Luger into the WWE Hall of Fame. Interesting
Yeah.
choice. A lot of talk where Lex Luger wants Sting to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Sting is still under AEW contract. Are we going to be seeing a 2011 Ric Flair Christian situation, or is Tony Khan going to be kind of a little less willing to work with WWE, i.e., when Billy Gunn did the Hall of Fame a few years ago?
Yeah, that's the thing. We do have precedent of Tony Khan letting his boys go over to do just the Hall of Fame. And Sting hasn't been on AEW TV in a long time. Like he retired last year in March, and then I think he showed up at All In, right, in Wembley. But that was the last time he was on TV. So yeah, if I'm Tony Khan, if Lex asks, yes, 1,000%. I'm not calling Triple H and offering, but if they ask, if they send in the call, I would allow it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Tony's arse is getting a little tighter these days, so I don't know if he's still going to be as cool about it.
Yeah, I don't think he will, because of that reason. His hate for WWE is kind of hilarious at this point, and I get it. I honestly do. I 100% understand why he wouldn't want his anyone contracted to him to do it, but it's just gonna send a weird message and precedence to a lot of people in the wrestling world, especially as back in 2019 when they said XYZ about how open and awesome and they're going to be singing Kumbaya around the campfire type of thing that AEW was going to be. Pro Wrestling Union. Let's just remember that whole conversation. And where they are now. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think it'll happen, but we're still a month away. Anything can happen. If Tony Khan could pick one wrestler to make an appearance for AEW, a la Christian going to TNA back in 2011, who do you think it would be?
That's interesting. I don't know who. Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints showing up, dude.
That would be the funniest shit ever.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
I didn't use you when you were contracted, but I'm going to use you now.
But now I want you. Come back over. To lose a match to Roosh, who I'm then going to put on the shelf for the next 6 months.
I don't
know.
Who would be for me?
Who?
Bailey.
That would be interesting. Have Bailey show up, even just like backstage for a thing. Like if they could somehow have Bailey lose to Mercedes in an AEW ring while still being contracted to WWE, that's obviously like a fantasy that would never ever happen. But that could be very cool. In the world where we're just fantasy booking straight up Extreme Warfare revenge style. That would be what I would do.
Yeah. Hey, remember, stranger things have happened. Mike Awesome, WCW wrestler, losing to Taz, WWE wrestler, in an ECW event for the ECW title.
Oh, man, what a time to be alive that was. Do you remember what the follow-up to that was? When Taz got...
With Tommy Dreamer?
Yeah, Taz got pedigreed and lost to Triple H, within 4 minutes, which was very, very sad.
Yeah. What's funny? So I was at the event at the Burt Flickinger Center in Buffalo, New York, where Mike Awesome no-showed the event. And later on Live Audio Wrestling, as my brother and I were driving back to Toronto, they were talking the entire time about the fact that Mike Awesome is going to show up on Monday Nitro with this big reset, with all the wrestlers being in the middle of the ring, because this was when that big reset happened around April of 2000, when Bischoff and Russo were going to reset all of WCW.
What a time to be alive. 2000, that was Merrick?
No, that was Agnew.
Oh, nice. Already, eh? That's sick. Oh, Jason Agnew. Shout out Agnew. I hope he's doing well. Definitely have to try to catch a Jays game with him if possible this coming year. That'd be nice.
Yeah. We've mentioned it. Yeah. Hopefully we can make it happen.
Yeah. I haven't seen that guy since he sold the thing to a fucking couple parties who will not be named here in this podcast. Let's move on forever.
Yeah, but so it's crazy times. Crazy things have happened, but yeah, we'll talk about the WWE Hall of Fame and all of WrestleMania week when WrestleMania week happens. All right, Matt, now is a good time to end the show.
Yes.
Again, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Facebook.com and just search for A Plus Wrestling. That's the group. aplusproductions.com is the place to find everything A plus, whether it be A plus sports, A plus entertainment, or A plus wrestling. aplusproductions.com is the place to go. Thank you guys and gals so much for listening, for participating, for putting up with our stupid schedules and everything in between. We really do appreciate it. We really do thank you. And that, always a fucking pleasure talking to you, you sandbagging son of a bitch.
Same, brother. Nice to hear from you. And hope your wheel's doing well in the next couple weeks. And yeah, Monday night, let's shoot for baseball preview show.
We'll call it Monday Nitro.
By God, let's go.
All right, on behalf of the entire A Plus crew, thank you guys for listening. But more importantly, stay tranquilo.